this opportunity to interview amazing veterans that have amazing missions. And my guest today is Bill Kiefer. He is the co-founder of VCU, Veteran Career Journey. Bill, thanks for stopping by. How are you?
I'm great, Neil. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now let's kind of talk about how this journey started. I've learned so much about transition from Sean Welsh because again, the story. But how did you get involved in this whole transition story? I mean, the transition game and helping people when transitioning.
Yeah, so I served 12 years roughly as an Army officer, got out, spent 22 years as an HR executive in global Fortune 500s. 2018, I left the corporate space, said, you know what, I want to do something that makes an impact and it solves real problems. So informally, I've been working with veterans throughout my whole civilian career to help them better understand what the work world needs in terms of behavior and capability and deliverables and so forth. So in 2018, I jumped out, started doing all this, and in 23, we launched Veteran Career Journey, a nonprofit to help bridge the culture gap between employers and military veterans.
And I think that's important because the employers, it's the biggest challenge with employers that they go through is finding the right people. And veterans bring a different game than many people. And I think it's training, I think it's development, it's motivation, it's what you guys are structured to do that you fit so well in a company with loyalty, dependability, and the willingness to learn through their transition.
No, absolutely. And all those are important characteristics, and everything you said is true. But the willingness to learn, I think there's two other things that are really important. The adaptability. I mean, our many of our military veterans have lived through some really tumultuous times. So they're very adaptable, and that's important in a business world that has constant change. You know, there's nothing static in the civilian economy, right? The other thing that our veterans are good at, by and large, is making very quick, accurate assessments of what's going on the ground. And that can be a huge value add to civilian employers if they know how to draw it out of our veterans and apply it well in the work environment.
It's so true. And I think that's so important. And a lot of companies don't know how much the veterans are willing to start from the beginning and start from scratch, not go, kids come out of college and they want the best job possible. And they don't want to do some of the difficult, challenging tasks first to move up the ladder. That's not a veteran's mindset.
Yeah, no, I mean, veterans are used to doing tough stuff, no matter what branch of service or whether you went to boot camp or basic training, whether you're part of the conventional forces or the special operations community. You know, only about 1% of the population now chooses to volunteer to wear the uniform. And overall in American society, over 93% of the population has never served in uniform. What our military veterans bring is a very unique set of experiences and capabilities that can be the answer to what many of the problems that employers seek or face rather.
What do you think those problems employers seek, especially at this time when you're bringing people in? What are the biggest challenges?
Yeah, the biggest challenges, quite frankly, are finding employees, potential employees. I mean, some of it's really simple stuff. A colleague of mine needed to find 200 folks to work a manufacturing line in the Midwest, couldn't find 200 people to pass a drug screen. I mean, there's some really simple, basic things. Getting people to show up on time, people that are willing to work as part of a team, people that are willing to learn. You brought that up early on as one of the greatest attributes. And that's what military veterans do. You know, we understand that there's work to be done. And, you don't just necessarily get to pick and choose what you do and when you do it. So now veterans come with a lot of experience. They're used to feedback. They want to
Yeah.
hear what's going well, what isn't. Tell me what's good, and I'll go do that. And let me know where I can improve. Huge value add to the civilian work environment.
That's the key is feedback. But again, they want to improve. They see the value in it and they see the specific things. So what is your biggest challenge as an organization to connect the veterans? It's probably easier to find them than find the businesses. What are your biggest challenge to get them to buy into what you're doing?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I think is for people to break their paradigms. Oftentimes, veterans don't know what they don't know. So on the veteran side of that equation, veterans don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to reach out, and oftentimes the military, well, in most times, the military is all about the team. It's about we. And for the veteran, you've got to be able to tell your story, not just what you did and what you did as part of a team, but you got to tell the folks why it is what you did mattered because the employer can't hire your whole team. They're hiring you, right? On the employer side of things, I think we got to get past some of the negative bias and paradigms where, and they're still out there. It's not as bad as they used to be, but they're still, veterans, combat veterans all have PTSD and are dangerous. And veterans are all just mindless robots that just follow orders. Couldn't be further from the truth. So, like I said, 93% of the population never served in uniform. What they know and experience is from the media and from movies, and that's not reality.
No, it's not reality. And that's it. And then they make great employees. Tell me some good stories. So the businesses are hard to buy in because they think certain things about veterans. But tell me some of the great stories that you've been able to place people in the specific.
So, sure. So, two quick stories. One happened directly to me. I had a boss one time at a different company. Won't bother to tell you who it was. We'll call this gentleman Fred. And Fred was always appreciative of my military service. Veterans Day come up, Armed Forces Day, whatever. Hey, Bill, thanks for your service. And that was great. But he wasn't a veteran, had no veterans in his family. He didn't get it, which was fine. I didn't expect him to. We were there to do work, right? Our business shut down over the Christmas break, right? He came back in the new year and he goes, Bill, I get it. I go, what do you get? He goes, I understand your military service. I said,
Mm,
okay, that's cool. How did you have this realization? He goes, my son and I binged watch Band of Brothers. And I said, well, thank you. That was 50 years before my time and a very specific experience, but I appreciate your interest. I mean, it was like well intended, but totally off the mark. A second experience I had, a gentleman who had a long career in the military was hired to be a training manager. Great guy, big company, doing well. We were talking about succession planning, and two of my peers and the succession planning board were like, yeah, he's never going to be your replacement. But why? What's he failing on? Now, this is an educated dude, master's degree, all that, right? What's he failing on? Well, nothing. Is he not building relationships? No, he's doing a great job. I go, what's the problem? They go, he's from the military and we don't like the military. So I had to kind of go around them to say, yeah, we're going to avoid their opinions. And in fact, when I left the company, he wound up moving into my seat. So there's some really strange things that
there's some
happen out
strange
there.
stories, but what about stories of you placing specific people?
Oh yeah, yeah. There are many. We've placed folks from very senior roles at big companies to folks into leadership roles in like defense contractors, all the way down to folks that are individuals that, one was a helicopter mechanic and he wanted to move to kind of a remote area, wanted to be a helicopter mechanic in the civilian world. The geography he was going to for family reasons didn't have any helicopter repair shops. So we had to work with him and go, what is transferable? What is it about your experience? And he wound up in a shop that did automotive repair that worked. Good job. He's progressed. Everything's great. I've worked with all kinds of people at all kinds of levels. Project managers into a manufacturing world, IT folks into the cyber world, folks that want to be financial planners. We've hooked them up with companies. So I'm not a recruiter. I'm a coach and a connector. So I will coach folks on how to, one, define their target, understand what it is they're looking for, and then start to understand who they are, what they're bringing to the party, and how they define success. Then we work on getting them from where they are to where they want to be.
So you've worked first, but you do find the companies too once people work with you. Then you say, okay,
Yeah, now I got a pretty big network. So if there's folks in my network or opportunities I hear of, I'll say, yeah, this might be a great fit. Why don't we connect you two folks and figure out how to make that all happen?
if we have veterans, we definitely have veterans listening, but other veterans are looking for a job right now. What's the job market like? What areas are still hiring, even in this tumultuous time?
Yeah, tumultuous times. So there's always a need for IT folks. I know a lot of military folks are looking at the cyber world. The broader tech industry is still big. There's actually construction jobs out there for folks that might be interested in that. There's opportunity in the finance world. Manufacturing is a little tight right now, as you might imagine. But and there, I will tell you, healthcare has always got opportunities if that's something you're interested in, right? Now, not every industry and not every company has opportunities in every geography. So people got to understand what's important to them. They may want to work in tech, but they're going to go to pick a small town in the Midwest. Um, there may not be a tech opportunity there. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, lots of opportunities across the industries. I think the big ones that I see a lot more of is what we just discussed.
What is the biggest challenge of veteran career journey to keep going, especially finding veterans that want to work with you, or is it more connecting, finding more businesses?
It's both. It's primarily on the veteran side. Veteran Career Journey is a 501(c)(3). Our biggest challenge is getting the word out to veterans who could benefit from the training we provide, the coaching we provide. And as a nonprofit, you can understand it's fundraising so we can do ever more. So we're always looking for great partners, whether those are businesses that are looking for folks, whether it's other coaching firms, whether it's transition services in and out of the military that we can leverage and link up with. Obviously, anybody that's got a foundation that's interested in one, improving the state of the talent war out there, or two, supporting veterans to success, always looking for those kind of partners. But for the veteran side, it's word of mouth and getting our word out to them.
Interesting. And but if you get more people, then you get more funding. Is that pretty much how it works? In a way.
It's one of those chicken and the egg things, More funding, we can do more people. If we get more people, we get more exposure to more funding. So it's
I find it's fascinating what I've been able to do in my agency for Sean, building a huge veteran community of followers. So it's something to really look at and connect with, where I was getting so many that you can meet people like you on his show and also build a huge network following, a military following. Because again, the hardest part in any organization is getting the word out and helping the most people. And it's not like the
absolutely.
days of going to a networking event and that's the way you're going to grow, or grassroots. You got to really hit the ground running. Where's the best place people can connect with you? You have a spot.
LinkedIn, actually. LinkedIn. That's William E. Bill Kiefer. I am all over LinkedIn. I'm on it all the time. Veterancareerjourney.org is my website. You can connect with me there. I'll take a phone call if people want to call me, man. 419-205-7072. But LinkedIn, my website, and then, a phone call.
I appreciate it, Bill. It was great information. Thanks again. And I love what you're doing. And I love to hear that there's still a job market in certain areas. And that's where people need to focus their attention, is in this tough time, especially if they've lost their job. Even though they're not a veteran, they need to look at these areas and say, I need to dive deep. And with AI, they can dive deep and they can figure out a way to get a job. But certain industries are done for a little bit. Appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah, they absolutely are. All right, what two more quick things? Two
Sure.
books out on Amazon. Go search Bill Kiefer. You'll find both of them out there. Military Career Transition: How to Get Ready to Make the Transition, and Veteran Career Journey, both providing insights on how to succeed before, during, and after career transition.